Welcome, welcome, Miguel. Great to have you here. Sounds like it's been a great run, this round of the World Cup. Tell us about the ratings, who's watching, and how do you know that roughly half of the World Cup viewers in the U.S. have watched at least some portion of some matches in Spanish? Talk to us about that.
Sure. Well, thank you for having me. The audience in this World Cup has been an amazing story, and I think it speaks to many things. It speaks to certainly Telemundo and Peacock's coverage of the World Cup across many different platforms. I think it also speaks to the World Cup tournament itself, whether it's the expanded field where there's more teams and there's more games, the legends like Messi and Ronaldo, the stars of the World Cup. And we can't discount the fact that it's a World Cup taking place in our backyard, in our communities. And a World Cup that is a world away is still interesting to all audiences of soccer. But when it's taking place in your country, it's hard to replicate that excitement, knowing that whether there's matches in your city, in your communities, watch parties, it's another level to it that we haven't seen since the last World Cup here in 1994. And certainly, whether it's on social media or through our coverage, the response from audiences with these matches have been amazing.
Miguel, obviously one of the things we can't ignore when we're talking about Telemundo is the iconic voice of Andres Cantor. I mean, everyone knows that goal, everyone knows what that is and everyone knows from. Do you think that's one of the reasons why people are so invested to tune into Telemundo? Because even people who don't speak Spanish are tuning in.
Absolutely. Hispanics are about 20% of the U.S. population. Yet, as you mentioned, nearly half of the World Cup audience in the United States has been on Telemundo and Peacock. And so the excitement and the passion that our talent and that our production brings, Andres Cantor certainly being one of them, it's certainly one of the reasons why audiences are watching on Telemundo. Andres is a very important part of it. And certainly, his calls of these various Argentina comebacks have been very viral. But
the last one, he almost lost his voice.
I love that.
We joke with him like he needs to really make sure he's taking care of his, drink some honey and some lemon. We got to save you. There's a lot of games to go through. But it's been him. It's been other talent on the team. I mean, we've had some major names join our team, whether it's Andres Guardado, Carlos Salcido. These are big names with the Mexican national team that have played with that team. And we saw when Mexico beat Ecuador, the Mexican team came over and started throwing them up into the air in celebration. So there have been so many great moments like this. Maxi Rodriguez is another one. Messi has given him like a celebratory hug before every game. It's worked out. It's been good luck because obviously Argentina has made it this far. So when you look at all of our talent and all the excitement that they bring and the passion into that coverage, and that's just not just during the game, but everything before and after and everything happening across our platforms, it's no surprise that to us that audiences are gravitating towards our coverage and watching these matches on Telemundo.
Hey, Miguel, so the Spain versus Argentina match, this is featuring two Spanish-speaking teams facing off in the World Cup for the first time, World Cup final, since 1930. What are the expectations? Are we going to see record viewership? Just talk a little bit about, what to expect for the game.
Yeah, I mean, any World Cup final is a dream scenario, but it's extra special for Telemundo and our audiences that the final features Argentina and Spain. I mean, these are two teams with massive followings, a tremendous history. It's the defending world champions against the defending European champions. That's never happened before. The possession dominance of Spain, the overwhelming will of Argentina, and of course, arguably the GOAT, Messi. Spain is the slight favorite, but I don't see how you can doubt this Argentina team with the way that they've come back so many times in this World Cup. This really does set up to be one of the greatest World Cup finals in history. And we certainly think we're going to set some records in this final come Sunday.
Miguel, after the World Cup, finishes up, we're going to be very sad. I'm going to be very sad. But obviously, we're going into the rest of the soccer season. Telemundo has some Liga MX games, as well as just signed a deal with Bundesliga to have some Spanish-speaking, telecasts for that league. Tell us about all of the other soccer people can tune into on Telemundo once the World Cup is over.
Absolutely. I mean, Telemundo is home of the biggest sporting events in the world. Obviously, now with the World Cup, we have the Summer Olympics in 2028, which of course include men's and women's soccer. We're the home of Premier League, along with NBC Sports. You mentioned Bundesliga, which we announced earlier this week. We have a couple of teams in Liga MX, Chivas, Tigres, and Juarez. And Telemundo is also the Spanish language home of U.S. soccer for the men's and the women's team. So there is a lot of soccer coming down the pike, even after this World Cup, that we're really excited about. And having not just Telemundo and Universal, but Peacock as our streaming platform to be able to distribute all of this high-class and elite soccer properties for our audiences is something that we're excited about.
All right, so I've got to ask you, and this is courtesy of our Sebastian Escobar, because there is this running joke, as you know, Miguel, I think, on social media, that all the English-speaking fans who switched to Telemundo for the World Cup are now hooked on their primetime telenovela, El Señor de los Cielos.
Very nice.
Thank you. Muchos años. You estudié. Are you tracking this telenovela fan crossover? I'm just curious. And Sebastian, by the way, is a fan of the show. I did not know that about him. But anyway, are you tracking this crossover?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, if you've seen our World Cup coverage, we certainly were promoting El Señor de los Cielos, Operación Triunfo, El Turco, a bunch of Spanish properties that are really important for Telemundo that launched on July 7th. So we're certainly tracking it. There's been a lot of great crossover from World Cup audiences watching these properties on Telemundo and even also on Peacock itself. We've seen a lot of World Cup audiences on Peacock sampling and trying other non-World Cup content, which is actually really impressive when you think about it, because 104 games, that's a lot of commitment for World Cup soccer fans to watch. That's a lot of hours of soccer. There's not a lot of time left in the day, and so they're still finding time to watch these other properties. There might be some agreements there with wives and husbands, some trade-offs, because it's a lot of commitments for soccer this summer. But we're absolutely tracking that, and it's been great to see.
So after this World Cup winds down,
Speaking of commitments,
what are you guys going to be thinking about for the next few World Cups? Is Telemundo interested in securing the media rights for the next one, the one after that?
Right now, we're just focused on producing Sunday's World Cup final. And let's not forget, we also have a third place match. We've talked about the final, but we do have a game tomorrow in Miami between France and England. So our focus is there. If I can, maybe Sebastian will appreciate this, but if I can quote a go-to athlete response, we're taking it one day at a time, and we're focusing on what we have in front of us these next 2 days.
Miguel, I think one of the other interesting things when we're talking about France and England is that game is just as competitive almost as this Spain and Argentina game. Some people saying that it actually could be the final. Do you expect to see viewership for that as well as just as high as the final almost?
Well, I don't know that we would see it just as high as the final. The final is on its own level. But we're certainly going to see tremendous audiences for the third place matchup. And I think for a lot of reasons. One, as you mentioned, it's England and it's France. These are two elite teams. They have some of the biggest stars in the world, whether it's Mbappe or Harry Kane or Jude Bellingham. One of the other things that we've seen in this World Cup is the tremendous viewership that we've seen across these 104 games ultimately hasn't been tied to one particular team. Absolutely, we've seen record and historic numbers for Mexico, for Team USA, but it's really been across multiple teams. It really speaks to the quality of play in this World Cup. Matches with England have set records.
Yeah.
I mean, Cape Verde, Cabo Verde, those were some of the best World Cup matches in this tournament. And before the World Cup, a lot of people didn't even know where they are on a map. So, yeah, we definitely expect great audiences for this matchup tomorrow between England and France. But, the World Cup final, it's in its own category.
Hey, Miguel, just got about 30 seconds left here. Any regret not cashing in on the hydration breaks and running ads during them?
None at all.
Okay.
We have monetized the hydration breaks, and we made a commitment to our audiences to stay on the feed as soon as the game starts, make sure that audiences don't miss any moment of the action. And it's actually one of the many things that audiences have come back to us as positive sentiment around our World Cup coverage, whether it's our production, our talent, our hydration break strategy. So we're really happy with everything that has gone down for the World Cup as it relates to our production and our strategic decisions.